Hi, hello and welcome. I've got a small haul of luxury makeup items that I picked up this past week because our local makeup store had a 25% off sale, and I saw that one of the items that was finally on the website and was included in the sale is one of the new Dior Queens. Now this is the shade, oops, excuse me, I haven't even opened this, so the plastic and all the little like brush applicators and stuff are still in here, so they made a bit of a splash here. But this is the shade Solar Flame, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the Dior 5 Couleur Eyeshadow Queen. Excuse me, it is actually called Coral Flame. Now, I did buy the other queen in the collection, which is the shade Pastel Glow, and we've talked about Pastel Glow quite a few times. I've actually used it on my channel at least like 2 or 3 times already, and one of the biggest reasons I picked up this quad and its, you know, warmer counterpart really is the fact that they're in my beloved Baked Gelée formula. If you've been around my channel, you will know Baked Gelée formula is one of my absolute favorites. It all started with Pat McGrath Labs and it has just escalated from there, and every time I see a brand release these like Baked Gelée formulas, I am on like a meerkat. So I picked up the shade Pastel Glow because it is the more unique out of the two. This is beautiful because it has this really interesting combination of like neutral to warm shades together with the two like cooler pastel shades, and I absolutely love it. But the other shade, so the shade Coral Flame, honestly, very much my color story. These beautiful chocolate warm browns, that gorgeous yellowish shade here, the sandy shade, the little coral here in the middle. Honestly, this is very much my cup of tea. Aside from that, I picked up 2 more items. One I'm not going to show you today because it's sort of like a boring thing, and eventually we're going to talk about it. Curiously enough, even though Benefit are the authority in brow products, I've actually never tried any of their brow products. In fact, I don't think I've tried much from Benefit. I think I've had a sample of one of their mascaras. I did have a sample of one of their blushes a really long time ago, but I've really been enjoying clear brow gels, and they do make one which gets really good reviews from what I understand. So it is now in my backup drawer, and as soon as I finish the Too Faced Laminating Brow Wax, I will be onto that and I will let you know how it goes. But honestly, brow products are just not very exciting category for me. Now, something that is a little bit more exciting and I do want to share with you, and we are going to put on immediately, is this. I am slowly going through like the whole range of lip products from Gucci because I just have such a love affair with the makeup of Gucci, with their packaging, with the products, and recently I've been head over heels with their lip products in particular. And this is one of the formulas that I hadn't tried yet. So the lipsticks that come in this like sort of like slender packaging with the black design and the little like gemstone on it. Is it a gemstone or something of the sorts? I'm not exactly sure what this depicts, but they come in this very slender packaging and they are sort of like a creamy, shiny lipstick formula. We're going to talk about creamy, shiny lipstick formulas in a little bit again, but I wanted to put it on because this is not exactly the kind of lipstick that I would really wear to work, because at work I prefer to have something a little bit more punchy and less maintenance, if you will. But it is something that I will definitely take to work with me as like an extra moisturizer, or on days when I'm doing like really light makeup or no makeup, I would throw this on. But this is in the shade, I forgot to tell you the shade. So this is in the shade My Cousin Rachel 216. And one of the reasons I bought this is because it's called My Cousin Rachel, and Rachel made me think of Friends, and Friends is like one of my favorite things to have ever been on TV. I can quote that show, like quote unquote episodes from that show. So it kind of like reminds me of that, even though I'm not even sure that this is a shade that like Rachel would wear. I already have a bit of a lip balm, so I'm going to dab that away just so you can actually see how much like shine is coming from the lipstick itself. And I'm going to give it a quick swatch here on the back of my hand just so you can see. These are not exceptionally pigmented. This is just a pretty, you know, peachy nude kind of shade. I really like it. This is very much a me kind of color. It is sort of like a much less punchy and pigmented version, I feel like, of something like Kitten Mischief from Lisa Eldridge. So while I'm doing the rest of my makeup, let's chat about Lisa Eldridge, because she pulled a number on us again, didn't she? Alright, starting with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. So Lisa teased us a couple of days ago. If you're in her emerald tier, meaning you spent a ridiculous amount of money on her products, you're in her emerald tier. So that gives you a few perks, one of them being that you get to hear about her releases a bit in advance, and you get to purchase her releases a bit in advance. So a couple of days ago, I received an email that she is going to be releasing a new lip formula type product. And she calls them the Balm Embrace, I want to say, something with balm. Anyway, it is like a shiny lip balm type formula. And when I saw the email and I opened to view the shades, I was like, meh, whatever. Because, you know, these type of products, they're super in, and they are exactly now is the time of the year, if you're in the part of the world where it's going to be spring and summer, that is, they're exactly the type of product that you would reach for a lot in these months. And I was like, okay, you know, really happy for everyone who enjoys that type of formula or wears it a lot, but that's not me. Taking the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation in the shade Deauville. There were only 5 shades. I didn't see anything that particularly spoke to me. Like, I saw a few shades that I thought are really nice, but, you know, the whole, like, release didn't spark an ounce of interest in me. And then yesterday, I got home and Lisa had released her reveal video. And I already know from experience how dangerous it is for me to go into her video that set on, I'm not buying anything, I don't need any of this. And then I watch her reveal video, and by the end of the video, I want to buy everything. I knew that was going to happen, I knew it. I did post about it on my Instagram yesterday, and I messaged with a couple of you that you kind of have the same experience as me, and I absolutely loved. One of you made that joke that Lisa Eldridge is so good in selling her products that she could literally sell you your own house back, and I had to laugh so hard because this is so accurate. I've always thought of Lisa Eldridge as the type of salesperson who could literally sell me stale bread, and I would eat it up like it's bruschetta, and I would ask for more. So I went to watch her video thinking, I'm still not going to be convinced by these. And then I turned on the video, and I want to say, like, within a few minutes, she had put on the shade Sweet Fig, and I was already drooling. I don't know how she does it. Because the thing is, she's not trying to sell you anything, right? She's just talking about her release in these beautiful poetic words, describing the shades with, you know, the most lyrical backstories behind them. And then she puts on the colors and she starts to explain the nuances of the colors, and you're like, but this is not just a red, or this is not just a pink. They have like a backstory to them and a meaning, and you end up, you know, finishing the video thinking, should I pick 1, 2, or should I just like go and buy them all? I don't know if she took a course or something, but she's an absolute wizard when it comes to selling her brand. So good job, Lisa Eldridge. I went into this thinking I'm not going to buy anything, and then I did end up buying something. I was good. I didn't buy like all the 5 shades. I didn't even buy 2. I just bought the 1. Also, I got a bit warm, so I'm going to take my little vest off here. For concealer today, I'm going to take the Sublimage from Chanel. So I had a hard time picking a shade because honestly, a lot of them, like most of them, sounded really appealing to me. I initially was thinking about picking up Sweet Fig. I want to say like the beigey neutral shade, but since I just bought this Gucci one, which isn't necessarily the same shade, I think actually the shade from Gucci is more similar to her shade in Meet Cute, but I thought, okay, you've got enough like beigey peachy nudes, get something different. You know I fall for the red shades, however, I want to test this formula out in a somewhat more neutral shade before I commit to a red, because the issue I have with these extremely shiny formulas, and honestly, the formula looks very, very shiny. It looks very plumping, very juicy. I absolutely love it. I love how these sort of lip products look on the lips, and I wish I could wear them because I have like, well, I don't have the meaniest types of lips, but I also don't have like big, plumpy, juicy lips. So I love products that make your lips appear a little bit more like plumped up and present. And I always like slightly overline my lips so that they appear a little bit bigger. Nothing like clownesque, but just a little bit. So when I saw how these like products like plumped up her lips, I was instantly sold. I am going to quickly set the foundation with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. However, like I said, these types of formulas from any other brand I've tried tend to bleed on me. The reason I trust Lisa's products is because the Lucents are also a very shiny formula. And accidentally, just like on a little side note, the reason I thought, why do I need her balm formula when I have the Lucents, is because the Lucents sort of like fill in that space for me of like a very shiny, creamy formula that's a bit like a tinted lip balm. Why would I purchase something that's like even less pigmented than that? But anyway, side note. So I thought the Lucents are that kind of, you know, shiny, balmy formula, and they never leave my lip lines. I don't know how she has done it. I don't know how it's possible. Every other like shiny formula that I've ever tried, by the end of the day has, you know, definitely taken a trip outside of my lip lines. Except for the Lucents, they never do. So I'm intrigued if she's managed to pull off a mega creamy, mega shiny formula that doesn't leave my lip lines, because that would be a flat out miracle. I'm taking the Too Faced Laminating Brow Wax to do my brows real quick. So I decided to not get Sweet Fig or the red shade. I decided to forgo Meet Cute because I already have Kitten Mischief and I have a backup of Kitten Mischief, and it seems like pretty much the same kind of color. I never tend to really prefer her like darker shades in those sort of formulas, so I've never even bought a Lucent that's really much darker than Meet Me in Berlin, for example. That's, I think, the darkest Lucent that I have. And then I was very, you know, enamored and intrigued not only by the color but also by the beautiful story that she told about the shade Epanouie. So I decided to take my chances and get a pink, even though pink is not really my first choice when I go for a new lip product, but it looks like a very interesting shade of pink, and if I trust anyone to do pink right, it is Lisa Eldridge. So I am very, very intrigued by this formula, by this color. I hope that it will arrive at some point early next week so that we can test it out, and I am especially intrigued by how this is going to wear throughout the day. Now, since we are wearing a little bit more Gucci, and I think I haven't really used this specific product on camera in a while, I'm going to take their bronzer. This is in the shade 03 to bronze up, and I'm also going to take one of their absolutely gorgeous blushes in a little bit, because their blushes are my favorite luxury formula blush out there. I love a lot of my other luxury blushes, but there's something about the Gucci ones that is completely irresistible to me. So I know a lot of you have had this very same experience with Lisa Eldridge releases, including this one. So please let me know in the comments, what did you buy in the end? I know a lot of you have bought things from this release. A lot of you probably didn't plan on purchasing anything, and then somehow, just like me, you ended up purchasing something. So I'm very, very curious what you guys have purchased and what your expectations are for this formula. For blush, I'm also going to, of course, stick with Gucci, and I'm going to take one of my absolute favorite shades from the collection. This is one of their summer releases from last year. This is the shade Soft Red, which is an absolutely gorgeous, like chili red kind of shade, which looks extremely flattering against my skin tone, and I think it would make such a beautiful pairing with the Dior Quint. So let's commiserate over here on how Lisa Eldridge manages to enchant our souls and wallets and makes us fork out on products that we don't really need. I don't have a highlighter from Gucci, so let's go with the oversized highlighter in the shade Precious Coral from Chanel. With that said, I would still have been much more excited if she released more shades of the Lucents, because the Lucents are my absolute favorite, like creamy, shiny formula lipstick out there. I've tried many, I've enjoyed many, but nothing comes even close to how exceptional the Lucents are. So I cannot wait for more Lucents to be released at some point in time. I know she's going to release more Lucents. The question is, how long is she going to make me wait? I'm going to set all the powders on my face with MAC Fix Plus and my sponge. Okay, and now we can finally move on to some swatches and a look with Coral Flame. I'm just first going to swatch all of the eyeshadows for you on the back of my hand. and then we can proceed to do a look. I don't expect that you're going to be wowed by the swatches, because this formula really isn't something that wows a lot on a swatch. They're just very, very soft and elegant in terms of formula, but they're not going to be super wowing on a swatch. I think these are the types of formulas that you can truly enjoy once you put them on your eyelids, and you don't expect like a lot of metallicness and sparkle. I will have a really hard time deciding what kind of look I want to do, because all the shades speak to me. Oh, that is gorgeous. Now, I just want to make one comparison swatch between the two queens. Actually, let me put them like this next to each other for you so that you can see the differences. And I want to see how this shade here compares to the sandy looking shade in Coral Flame. I think the other shades are really rather different. But I mean, we could also swatch the deepest shade from Pastel Glow. This is the sandy shade from Pastel Glow, and this is the deepest shade from Pastel Glow as well. You can see this has these beautiful like reddish undertones to it, and actually the sandy shades are also quite different from each other. This is more like a copper, and this really has this beautiful like sandy brown to it. Let me slightly re-intensify the swatches of the Coral Flame so that you can see them a little bit better. So here we have the 5 swatches from the Coral Flame Queen, and these are 2 of the shades from Pastel Glow. Beautiful, beautiful shades. And now I have to decide what I'm going to do with my eye look. Also, I think this is going to pair beautifully with this, because if you do like a little like brown smoky eye moment, and then you want to put a little lavender or, you know, mint green in your inner corner, that would be amazing. I think you can just pair the 2 queens to create like new sort of shades and looks. So I also think the 2 products would work really well together. Alright, I've zoomed you in. I'm having a really hard time deciding what kind of look exactly I'm going to do, but I know for a fact that I'm going to start off the look with the deep brown shade, which, as you probably have guessed already, is going to go on my in the base of my lashes as a little bit of a liner kind of situation. And of course this is applying beautifully. I expected nothing less. Beautiful shade. You can also smoke this all over the lids and have something like toppery, glittery, like a liquid eyeshadow from Pat McGrath or Lisa Eldridge over top, and it will look absolutely beautiful. It's something that I'm definitely going to experiment with at some point in time. But I just love how foolproof these formulas are. There's literally no fallout, because the Baked Gelée formula is not really a very like powdery formula, so even with a deep eyeshadow like this, you never really have to worry about having a lot of fallout, and I just absolutely love that. I have such a hard time deciding what I want to do, because I just want to use all of the shades, but I can't use all of the shades, so I have to make some choices. And since I am really the most intrigued by this pinky brown over here, I'm going to put that as like my one and done lid shade moment, and then I might top it off with one of the other shades once I see how this looks on the lids. Oh, that's pretty. This formula has just a little bit of a sheen to it, but it is not metallic. I'm going to take a tiny bit of glitter glue to apply in my inner corners and like a tiny bit on my lids, because I actually feel like the shade here, the sandy shade here, has a little bit of more of sparkle to it, so I'm going to use it as my topper kind of moment. I don't think I'm going to pull out for any of the liquid eyeshadows or any other like really glittery type topper. I think I just want to keep it to this quint, but I feel like this shadow may have a little bit more sparkle, so I am going to pop just a tiny bit of that on the center of the lids, and I think I'm just going to use my fingers for that. So I'm going to go into this shade here, and I'm going to apply that over the top of the rosy brown as a bit of a topper moment. That does have indeed a bit more sparkle, not like Pat McGrath level sparkle. And since we're, you know, experimenting and putting things over top of each other, and I'm just very curious, I'm going to put a bit of like the rose gold also over the top. I mean, you can't tell one shade from the other at this point. I'm very sorry, but I really just want to try all of them. You can see though, even though I layered so many shades, everything is still like very soft, nothing's overtaking the rest. I am going to put a bit of the yellow shade, of course, on my inner corners to match my earrings and the little vest that I was wearing before. And also because I feel like that's really the only shade that would work as an inner corner highlight for me. That is so nice. That is a beautiful sort of like pastel yellow. I'm so glad that this is not a gold. And let me just quickly show you a bit of sparkle moment, because these do have like a subtle like sparkle to them. So under like sunlight or artificial lighting, you are going to see them glimmer really beautifully, but more like fairy dusting, not really like intense glitter. This look basically was begging for like a nice, cheerful, happy red lipstick, and I thought I would wear this one from Hermes. This is one of the limited edition shades from one of the previous years that I purchased on Vinted, and for the life of me I can't remember the name of this. I'll have to look it up on my Instagram because I swapped out the packaging. So the name of the shade that's standing here is not actually the shade that is in here, so I'll have to look up how this lipstick is called, and I will try to leave it in my description box if I don't forget to do that. But it is a beautiful like coral red that has a bit of like a golden shimmer running through it, which I didn't notice the first time I wore the lipstick. Like I put it on, it was a very gloomy winter day, and only when I went to work and I was standing in like direct daylight, I thought, huh, this has a bit of like a metallic, like not a metallic, but this has a bit of sparkle running through it, which I absolutely didn't notice when I had just put it on. So this is beautiful. I think it complements the look absolutely beautifully. I'm very happy with the Coral Flame Quint that I purchased from Dior. I think a product like this, as long as you curb your expectations and you know what you're really getting yourself into, you might really enjoy, but you have to enjoy it for what it is and not for what your expectations are. So I just wanted to make that clear, because you know I love sparkle, I love glitter, so I feel like a lot of the times if people would buy something of my recommendation, they would expect a lot of impact and a lot of glitter, and this is not it, just to make it clear. Do let me know what you thought about this look. I think it turned out really pretty, really soft, and I actually think I don't feel the need today for any extra sparkle. I'm very curious what you thought about it. Do let me know whether you have these two quints. What do you think about them? How do you use them? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Let's talk about the Lisa Eldridge Bombs. There's no judging here. This is a judge-free zone, so you may feel free to share what you bought from this release. If you bought all 5, more power to you. As usual, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!